This is 5 on 20 News, where the news is bold and the newscasters are bolder. This is Sean Madrid.
And Luke Goodhart, coming to you live from our studio in downtown Tucson.
First, the local headlines. Tucson is taking part in a national program to help Tucsonans gain citizenship. This program is aimed toward people living here legally, but who are not yet naturalized citizens. Tucson Mayor Jonathan Rothschild cited a 2015 study that found naturalized citizens have increased incomes and are more likely to own a home. Rothschild promises that the program focuses on legal immigrants only, not illegal immigrants. A statement that was ignored by thousands of Facebook feeds, or that will be by thousands of Facebook feeds tomorrow morning, including your Aunt Cheryl's. This city is working with local organizations including Pima Community College, Chicanos por la Causa, Vantage West, and Pima County Library to provide civics courses and legal support for those interested. They can sign up at Pima Community College campuses and Tucson libraries. Vantage West is also offering citizenship loans of $1,500 to pay for classes, applications, and other fees.
Supporters of Proposition 205, which would have legalized marijuana in Arizona, conceded defeat on Tuesday. While the ballots are still being tallied, Prop 205 trails by over 85,000 votes, assuring that the law has gone up in smoke. The bill was opposed by conservative Arizonans, but also by some pro-marijuana advocates who didn't like the way that the law was written. They claimed that the law favored existing dispensaries and would lead to a monopoly within the industry. The law's backers vowed that they would try again next election cycle and would fix the problems cited in the bill. When asked why they took so long to concede a decision made over a week ago, supporters of the marijuana legalization law said they've been meaning to but got deep into watching Frasier on Netflix. On the same day, Denver became the first city in the U.S. to allow pot smoking in some public places, setting up an industry of marijuana-themed restaurants and bars. The law, called Prop 300, laughed at Arizona as it soared to victory. While patrons will be able to smoke in establishments that allow marijuana, smoking will still not be permitted indoors. This prompted restaurants to offer special outdoor menus consisting of such delicacies as Cheez-It-infused grilled cheese sandwiches and scrambled hot dog tater tots. Voters also approved a new slogan for the state of Colorado: "The party's out back."
And in international and national news, the Dakota Access Pipeline protesters organized more than 200 demonstrations yesterday for a day of action. These protests were the largest in months and were initiated after the construction company behind the crude oil pipeline sought a relief judgment in court. The project was put on pause in September, but now developers are hoping to be granted permission to complete the pipeline without further action from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Folks on both sides of the issue agree on one thing: a final judgment on the project is long overdue. But it looks like there will be more violence before a decision is made. Riot gear-clad police officers were photographed macing water protectors near the Standing Rock Indian Reservation in Mandan, North Dakota yesterday. Protests in other cities, including Tucson, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Boulder, Chicago, and New York City, targeted U.S. Army Corps of Engineers offices in hopes of encouraging the Army Corps to exert its power to stop this pipeline for good. And proving that he really is the president that got away, Bernie Sanders joined protesters outside of the White House.
The Trump transition team is becoming a revolving door of entrenched conservatives. Dozens of members of the team left yesterday, either voluntarily or otherwise, part of a chaotic sequence of events that started the moment Trump won. One of the outgoing members was Mike Rogers, who was rumored to be in the running for CIA chief. An unnamed source told The Guardian that this was a, quote, Stalin-esque purge. The shakeup began Friday when Chris Christie was sent packing and Mike Pence took over to lay down the law. The Wall Street Journal reported that Pence kicked out all lobbyists from Trump's transition team like an angry father coming home to discover a rager in his backyard. Pence's move was likely prompted by criticisms aimed at Trump. Many critics perceive Trump as surrounding himself with Washington insiders, which contradicts his campaign promise to remain a Washington outsider. In the most surprising move of all, Pence kicked Donald Trump off the Trump transition team, with Pence literally throwing Trump out on the street by the giant orange creamsicles belt buckles. Pence then lit an Old Gold cigarette and declared it Independence Day. Meanwhile, Chris Christie is reportedly seeking shelter in a clothing donation bin outside Trump Tower.
Emboldened by the incoming Trump bomb, Israel's parliament moved forward on a plan to legalize 2,000 settlement homes that are built on existing Palestinian property. the Ministerial Legislative Committee gave initial approval to retroactively grant legal status for the homes in the village of Shiloh, where Israeli families now live illegally. The Obama administration condemned the original construction of the settlements, as did the UN, who will be voting on a resolution next year to determine whether they should also condemn the action. But with Donald Trump ready to take office, there's a good chance that the U.S. will not support the vote, and many even seek to veto the resolution. Trump has declared unequivocal support for Israel. That's a position common to the Republican platform, but also embraced by many Democrats. Obama's quest for a two-state solution between Israel and Palestine was to be the most enduring part of his legacy, a position that made him unpopular with the highly conservative Israeli government. The Israeli-Palestine issue is one of the world's longest-running conflicts, an issue that Osama bin Laden referenced in his reasoning to commit 9/11, and the foundation to much of the unrest in the Middle East. And we almost had a chance to solve it. Despite the importance of these developments, media outlets downplayed the news, shoving it aside to make room for the 70th think piece this week, analyzing how Donald Trump won the election. Speaking of which, Trump today said that he would like to move the U.S. Embassy to divided Jerusalem, a move intended to intimidate Palestinians who also lay claim to the embattled city. If Trump were to go through with the move, it would pretty much be the political version of a noogie to the Palestinians' heads.
New legislation just cleared a California Senate committee yesterday that will help ensure more equal child care responsibilities between the genders. Senate Bills 1350 and 1358 would require the design of future restrooms in public facilities such as movie theaters, sports arenas, libraries, and restaurants to ensure that changing stations are available to both men and women. Senator Ricardo Lara, who is sponsoring SB 1350, said that this legislation simply accommodates modern families, saying, quote, "As the demographics of the modern American family evolve, traditional gender roles with women as the primary caregiver for the children are changing, and men are becoming more and more involved in the care of their young children. There is also a growing number of same-sex households with children." Naturally, Fox News and other critics of the proposed bills argue that the regulation would be costly and unnecessary, which coincidentally are very fitting words to describe Fox News itself.
Speaking of unnecessary, an Iowa lawmaker is proposing a bill that would punish institutions that encourage protests against the incoming president. Representative Bobby Kaufman's legislation, which he dubbed "Suck It Up, Buttercup," would fine Iowa colleges that support cry rooms for students dealing with the victory of Donald Trump. Colleges in the area shouldn't worry because cry rooms aren't a real thing, but rather a meme designed to spread the idea that college students are entitled brats. We saw similar smear tactics back when Republicans were decrying safe zones in American colleges, which turned out to be largely non-existent on campuses across the country. The backlash stems from one Iowa State professor canceling class and a quiz the day after Trump won, with the professor admitting that she needed a personal day. So to review, teacher cancels class because she hates the president. Republican congressman writes legislation because he's mad. And a bunch of college kids have an afternoon kegger. That a boy, America. Kaufman claims that his legislation was in response to a group of protesters blocking Interstate 80 in Wilton, Iowa, a group that he says has no right to throw a temper tantrum in public. Democratic Representative Phyllis Theed said that Kaufman's bill would threaten free speech and has no chance of passing. Kaufman defended his legislation, saying that the law would only stay in effect for either 4 or 8 years, at which point Interstate 80 would eventually be repurposed as a free speech zone.
And in the latest narrative of Chinese censorship and Kim Jong-un related antics, the Chinese government has blocked the phrase Kim Fatty III from being searched on the internet. While a spokesman for the Chinese Foreign Ministry denied that the government had banned the search term, he quickly followed the denial with a statement that China, quote, "does not approve of insulting or ridiculing language to address any country's leader." The Chinese government probably only feels that way because they don't have the Donald lined up to be the next leader. Luckily for the Chinese public, they can turn to the phrases Kim Fatty 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 or Kim Fatty the Turd, which were not banned.
And I wanted to take this moment to talk about the program you're watching right now. Here at 5 on 20, we are undertaking a new kind of citizen journalism. We are going to give you the news as we see it, and we want more people to speak up with us. We need writers and hosts and anchors and camera people and sound people, basically the whole gamut. The times require a new way of informing ourselves, so join us. Do it now. Email us at info@creativetucson.org to get involved. This was Sean Madrid.
And Luke Goodhart for 5 on 20 News. In our next segment, Sophie tells us what we need to know about local music this week. But first, let's watch Anais's interview with the Monsoon Collective.
This is Anaïs Quintella for 5 on 20 News, and I'm here today with two local Tucson artists, Michael B. Schwartz and Lisa Watanabe. Will you guys introduce yourself for me? I'll start with you, Michael.
Hi, my name is Michael Schwartz, and I'm a painter and muralist and arts educator here in Tucson.
My name is Lisa Watanabe, and I am a visual designer, and that's it, I guess. I feel like I should say something else after that, after your, all right, anyways, go on.
And I've done this, and this, and this, and this.
Yeah, right.
But talking about that, what are some things you guys are involved in right now or semi-recently that you'd like to talk about?
So we are involved in this thing called the Monsoon Collective, which is a pop-up art space, which is this building that we've transformed into like a contemporary art center, and each room is a adventure, and it's like a labyrinth kind of space, and each artist has a room or several rooms where we're doing installations showing our artwork and generating new audiences for the arts here in Tucson. And mine is Rietta's Castle, well, it's Rietta's Pier, actually. It's like this cardboard cutout installation, and then paintings. And
One of my rooms is a light installation, and the other one is an ongoing metamorphosis kind of installation.
Tell me a little bit about what it's like to be an artist in Tucson right now.
this is a really special time to be an artist. I have worked in a lot of other communities. Tucson has a very high standard of being, and it's a beautiful place to work. It's very inspiring. And so for me, I'm at Citizens Artist Studio. I have a nice big studio where I get to wake up and go paint every day. It's a really special time. We're changing. The community is changing. The funding scene has changed. The leadership in the arts is all changing. And there's something going on here. There's something happening in Tucson that's part of what this interview is about, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And I know you're kind of reintroducing yourself into Tucson art culture,
I'm
but
getting re-assimilated back into the desert life. It's great. What's it like to be an artist in Tucson? Still learning. I'm still learning. Too soon to talk.
and we talked a little bit about how there's kind of less pressure here than you might find other places to be an artist.
Well, I mean, you don't have the pressure of transportation and driving around so much, or of the rents. The cost of rents are much less expensive here. It's easier to just operate as an artist and keep your business going. So there's a lot of positives to being here. I mean, also it's an exotic community. It's a unique place. So there's a lot of sources of inspiration. If you're hitting a place where you're like, gosh, I don't know what to create, there's so many places you can go in town. And for a town of our size, we have a major theater company here. We have a poetry center, plus all the outdoors, native cultures, et cetera. I mean, it's nuts. And so there's a ton here. And then it's a question of, how do we develop on and kind of put a spotlight on what's happening in Tucson, which I guess we're going to talk about too.
Let's talk about the mural project.
So the mural project started like 20 years ago with a group of people getting together, looking for work, trying to figure out how we're going to make a living as artists. And we formed an organization. And 20 years later, we started engaging the city slowly, smaller projects to larger projects, larger projects. Within the last year, we did the trash can murals, and we hired 5 artists for that. And then we did the downtown murals, and we hired 8 artists. And everybody's seen those and got really super excited about those.
Got national attention.
It got national attention, and it got everybody excited. It got the city excited. It got property owners excited, the real estate community excited. And most importantly, we moved from this idea of murals as being an alternative to a great way of maintaining walls, and that they're less expensive than walls that are blank in terms of graffiti. And we moved away from that conversation to art about art. Art lifting up people, becoming a destination, becoming part of the identity of Tucson. And so that's really exciting. And then the question is, where do we take it from there? Where are we going as a community? And we're at this kind of crossroads, and we get to decide where we want to go. And I think it's gonna go shoot to the stars. I mean, there is so much energy here and so many little startups, so much innovation and creativity. It's just attracting all sorts of international attention. And we see that. So we're an exotic, world-class community, and we're kind of becoming that. And I think that we're tooling up to do that right now. That's what we're doing, is kind of laying the new foundation for all of that to take place. Now, what that's going to look like, I don't think any of us know, right? And that's part of the fun of it.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add to that, Lisa?
No, he nailed it. He nailed it.
Well, Lisa knows a lot about technology, and so she knows a lot about the interface between, you know, technology and the arts, and that's going to be a big part of it. And she's a good example of the kind of artists that we want to have in this community and we want to keep here, right?
Aw, thanks, Michael.
It's true, but I mean, you know, in terms of your work and technology, I mean, how do you see that playing out here in Tucson?
You know, I'm not sure how it will play out, but I do know that there's a lot of inspiration in Tucson that will develop something very interesting that you can't really see anywhere else. I mean, the climate here, the sunsets here, the wildlife here, there's so many different parts, and the people, yeah, the weirdness and everything. Like, there's so many different little parts that actually relate closely to tying technology with art. I can't really articulate it completely, but it's there, and I'm still trying to, like, pinpoint what it is. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to see what comes out of Tucson, and I hope Michael's right. Like, this is, something's going on right now, and it's gonna boom soon.
Hi, I'm Sophie Gibson-Rush from KXCI, here to share with you what's curious or quality this week in local music. Andy Parada, the creator and frontman of Human Behavior, will be donating all profits from all sales of Human Behavior merchandise to Planned Parenthood. Here's what he posted on the Human Behavior Facebook page. If anyone buys anything from the Human Behavior store, I'll donate the entire amount to Planned Parenthood. Also, if you're short on cash, type the discount code ILOVEWOMAN and I'll chop your order's price in half, but still donate the full amount. Let me know if this approach or my perspective needs tweaking. I'm open, eager, and confused. Wow, I personally am moved and grateful. This means a lot to me. Human Behavior's music is singular. The songs have a mythic quality, and the lyrics touch on subjects from the everyday to enormous spiritual questions. What's more, this acoustic band, which includes violin, banjo, guitar, and some pretty female voices, makes a massive and unearthly sound. It's enough to make the hairs stand up on the back of your neck. Find the link for the band merchandise on the Human Behavior Facebook page. I think it's their Bandcamp. And pick up great music for a great cause. Tonight, Igor and the Red Elvises, Siberian surf rock party bringers, come to Club Congress. Want to wear a bearskin cap, a shiny suit, and shake it like the revolution is coming? I do, probably. These guys are as fun and colorful as the Russian winter is dark and depressing, and that's definitely appreciated in these strange times. So tomorrow night at Flycatcher, Dirt Friends, Down and Outlaws, and M. Crane perform. Dirt Friends recently premiered their music video for My Guts on imposemagazine.com. These guys are a super hardworking local band, and they deserve every word of the fantastic Impose write-up. Dirt Friends released their first album, Sunsets and Night Sweats, in June with Commercial Appeal Records. I have my friend Nick Levac from Dirt Friends here to talk about friendship, Tucson, and music. Hi!
Hi.
Where are your Dirt Friends?
I hope I wasn't supposed to give him a ride. I don't know. Everybody had to work late today, I think. But I brought with me some bird friends, so they'll keep us company, I think.
That's a fantastic shirt.
Thank you.
So you're a 5-person group?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's hard to tell because it's unclear which members I have invented in my mind or, you know, who's really there, who's not. I think there's a bunch of guys named Nick, but I don't know.
I think so too. I was under the impression that there were 4 Nicks, but
Yeah.
it turns out there's only 2, and you are one of them.
I'm one of them, yeah.
What do you do with Dirt Friends?
I play the piano and I sing in the front, I guess. We have a 5-piece band where we have 2 guitars, piano, a bass, and a drummer, and 3 of us sing. So it's kind of a nice way to, I don't know, get all our ideas across without losing your breath, you know, individually.
Yeah. So you, as the singer front person, you write a lot of the lyrics, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So one of my favorite things about Dirt Friends are the lyrics. Can you share with me any favorites, any process that you go through to write them?
I mean, I just try to wake up and remember my nightmares, like exactly as, you know, as they happen. So most of it's just stream of consciousness, you know, malarkey. But no, I don't know. We like to kind of hit on personal things, but make them approachable, like in a way that's fun to listen to, you know?
Definitely. And I've always felt like it's like an indie band with teeth. Like it's got some real gut to it, which I love. And I think that comes a lot from the lyrics.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think the music we play is very, I don't know, kind of easy, kind of smooth, winds in and out, melodic. What am I talking about?
It's melodic.
It's very melodic, but then the lyrics is like a juxtaposition where the lyrics are kind of harsher, about kind of more crass, disgusting things.
You guys all went to CDO together?
Yeah, we did. We didn't all go there at the same time, but we all went to the same high. I mean, I'm the wrong guy. It's all a blur. I don't know those years were. But yeah.
But you've known each other a long time.
We've known each other a long time. Nick and I grew up together since we were little kids playing baseball, writing music since, I don't know, 12 or 13. But and Emery and Josh are a couple years younger than us. They went to school with us. They were good musicians back then. Scott was a couple years older than us. Yeah. Oh. And no, they're fantastic. Scott was a couple years older than Nick and I, and so I don't know if we all went at the same time, but we all did go to the same high school, and that's kind of how this band came together.
Do you have any like favorite friendship moments, or?
Well, I mean,
any embarrassing scrapes?
Maybe that's why we're called Dirt Friends, like not good friends, you know, like scumbags. You know, I mean, we all know each other from proximity, but I don't think any of us really get along that well.
I feel like there's a good moment in the music video, which we're going to see at the end of this segment, where you guys are all hanging out at Scott's house, and it's a very good representation of how you are all together.
Yeah, maybe. That was a fun video to make. That was like a real party that we had, and we just put the saguaro. He showed up.
You'll see. Any, for you, personal musical influences? Like any songs that you're so hooked on, or bands that you've always loved, like maybe since high school?
You know, when I was a kid, I loved, you know, the Strokes, Modest Mouse, that kind of stuff. And you can see that's kind of available in our music, that kind of music. But right now, I love things like, I love like bossa nova music. I like Walter Lonner, like Brazilian jazz from the 70s and 60s. I think it's the best kind of music, and I like to get melodies that are, I don't know, otherwise unavailable. Like the way different genres work, not so cut and place, 4 on the floor like rock and roll. Like it's more fun to take influence from more interesting music than rock and roll.
Yeah. Well, it's expansive. Let's
It's a
see.
weird thing to say, I'm sorry.
No, totally. How about local bands?
Oh man,
Like we're friends or.
Tucson is flush with Dirt Friends, I'll tell you. There's some wonderful local bands that we love to play with. We recently released a split with some of our best friends, Asian Fred.
Yeah.
It's another 5-piece that 2 guitars, bass, and piano, and drums, and I don't know, we have a cool cassette that came out a few months ago.
Which you'll be selling tomorrow at your show. At the
Yeah, we'll be
Flycatcher,
selling it
right?
tomorrow, along with our album, our full length. I love Asian Fred. I love Mute Swan, like Fox Bodies. My favorite band's probably Headlock. If anybody out there likes Headlock. And so many more.
Yeah.
Emery, the bass player in our band, just started a new project called Hermana, and they're playing a show tonight, and you guys should all get down there. I believe it's at the Rat Trap, but if I'm wrong, then everybody watching will show up at the Rat Trap.
Maybe check it out on Facebook. I'm sure there's more information. So for Dirt Friends, what's next for y'all?
Well, we just finished this video. We're going to work on a couple more for some of our new songs. To me, that's the most fun part of being in a band or making music. I think visual art's better than music, but so it's nice to do video and stuff like that. Just create a bigger picture, a bigger piece of art.
Yeah.
But we've also got about 10 new songs people haven't really heard.
So exciting.
Yeah. So
you just came out with an album. How do you have 10 more songs?
yeah, you know, we don't sleep that much, I guess. But we'll hopefully be recording those with commercial appeal, Jordan Prather, early next year.
Great.
And hopefully we could have another album out by summer.
Awesome. I so look forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nick.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Cool. We'll see you tomorrow at Flycatcher.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Great. So that's Dirt Friends, Nick Levac. Check them out tomorrow at Flycatcher. Their album, Sunsets and Night Sweats, will be available for sale. And we'll leave you with their music video for My Guts. Enjoy.
Stay here, stick my guts on this one, and pray over all my loved ones. I'm not sure, but I don't wanna follow you around no more. I'm gonna sit here and fill my head with nice things, and go after all my pipe dreams. I don't care, I'm not gonna take another trip back there. Again with the shakes. Oh.